Yeah, I don't really care, Ben. I'm
Oh,
sorry. Welcome to SWAMPCAST, everybody.
yes, welcome.
Hello, we are the three hosts of SWAMPCAST, Ben, Matt, and myself.
That is
And as
correct.
as a warning, obviously, as you can probably already tell, we're all not in the same place right now. We're recording over Discord. So if we interrupt each other, talk over each other, please bear with us. Yeah,
Well, you can just edit it out.
no.
We're doing the social distancing of quarantine. We're all about I'm not sure where they live, but I say we're a good maybe 50 miles away from each other.
Yeah, I'm really taking this seriously.
I mean,
I say
you two are still, you guys aren't in College Station, right?
no, I'm at home in Cyprus.
Oh, so we're a little closer than 50 miles.
Tiny bit. I don't feel safe because yeah.
Because yes,
Okay.
understand.
Well,
Yeah.
um,
Bro, what
I
if imagine someone being in like an abusive relationship and having to quarantine with them.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah, that
That'd
would
be
suck.
the worst ideal place to do it.
Did you know, and I looked this up, if you are actually if you have to be quarantined in an abusive relationship, you can apply for refugee status.
Oh, nice.
So that you can get you can get put in like a separate living place. It's interesting.
Well, that's good.
That's
Yeah.
good for people who are in those relationships, but that's not the topic of today's podcast.
Well, what is the topic of today's podcast?
Well, we're gonna be talking about quarantine and what movies you could be watching during quarantine, and also the movie industries are the effect of the coronavirus on the movie industry.
That's true. What should we start off with?
Well, we're gonna start with the movies to watch during quarantine. Do you guys have any good suggestions?
Well, I'll start off.
Okay,
So
Ben, okay, it's fine.
I've been in quarantine for a bit now, so have all of us. And so some of the things that I've watched that I say I recommend is just this one's very obvious. This one most people have already seen, but it's always a great come back and rewatch them. Rewatch all the Harry Potters. That's like a lot of time to watch all the Lord of the Rings and all the Star Wars. Those are my three little quarantine movies because they last a long time and they're very good to watch.
So you're
It's a
just saying
solid.
so you're just saying to binge every like large movie franchise series of all
Pretty much, it's
time.
always a fun to
What about
get
Indiana
pushed into
Jones?
those. And
Yeah,
oh,
what
I did
about
watch
The
those.
Matrix?
I did not watch those this quarantine. I did watch the Indiana Jones all the way up to that fourth one.
Ooh, is the fourth one even worth watching?
No,
Have you not seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
it's not good. Don't watch it.
I
They
mean,
are
every
they
movie's
are
worth
coming
watching
out.
in my opinion, but
They are coming out with a fifth one in
Yeah, I'm not
2021,
watching it.
where Harrison Ford is still going to be playing Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be watching that one.
yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. So
I don't know who's directing it. I'm actually gonna look that up right now and see.
Yeah, those movies don't even have directors at that point.
James Mangold.
James Mangold
Who directed Logan
and Ford versus Ferrari and
yeah,
310 to Yuma and
and
a
A Walk
bunch
of
of
the
Western
Line.
shit. Oh, he
Wow.
did do that.
That's honestly pretty. I don't know. It's a pretty solid director, I guess. I just don't
It's
know how they're
alright.
gonna. I don't know how they're gonna incorporate an old Harrison Ford into it, but
They're gonna do a body double. They're gonna deep fake his face onto another person.
that'd be pretty weird. But it'd be pretty cool, I guess.
Wasn't Chris Pratt supposed to be the new Indiana Jones at one point?
I don't think it was ever confirmed, but people speculated if they were to choose a new one, it would be Chris Pratt, and I agree. I think he matches. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, he already plays kind of that role in Jurassic World, kind
Yeah.
of that kind of aura of Indiana Jones.
yeah,
Right.
And he does play like a space Indiana Jones, so in Guardians of the
He
Galaxy.
I mean,
does.
yeah, he basically does in Marvel, but I guess we'll just have to see. I mean, obviously, it's still like I think 2 years away now. And
But is
speaking,
Indiana Jones one of those
wait,
things
what?
that you can just like remake or replace?
What's the
Is
best?
Indiana Jones one of those things that you can just replace or remake?
Yeah, like, well, I don't know. I feel like it's too iconic, but I mean, like they do it with James Bond. So,
True.
you know,
We're still
I
in
don't
the
know.
we're still technically, it's still, like, in the infancy. Well, it's not even the infancy of Indiana Jones. This is James
Well,
Bond.
it's definitely in the elderly of Indiana Jones.
We're so we when we think about James Bond, we do think about, how it changes every, like, 3 or 4 movies, but
Yeah.
Indiana Jones hasn't changed yet. But if it was to, like, have Chris Pratt as Indiana Jones, and then it was to move on to, like, another person, then I think it'd be more acceptable for that to happen. But
Yeah.
If it happened in like the 90s, then it would have been more acceptable. I
yeah,
think
I would. Yeah, I
it's
agree with
too
that.
late.
But we'll see. I'm interested to see what happens. But yeah, speaking of movies, well, I guess I'll leave that later. What about you, Matt? What do you think of?
For movies during quarantine. Well, I'll be completely honest. I have been watching a lot of comedies to keep my spirits up lately. I've been watching a lot of the classic comedies that I've never seen
Like
that are
what?
just like that are just available to stream.
What's
Like I saw The
classic?
Big Lebowski for the first time. That was genuinely amazing. I really loved The Big Lebowski a lot. That's like a new favorite of mine. I recommend watching it, but I think they took it off Hulu. I think you need to have stars now to watch it, or you can just buy it, whichever. But what other classic comedies did I see? Because some of them were not good, so I won't be recommending those. But let me see here. See, I saw Groundhog Day again for the first time since I was like 8. That was really good. I saw The Naked Gun for the first time. That was pretty good. I saw Hot Rod for the first time, and I liked Hot Rod. Jackass 3, I saw for the first time. That was pretty great. Austin Powers is okay. Harold and Kumar is okay. Bill and Ted is okay. Police Academy was bad, and then I didn't like Step Brothers.
Damn, that's a lot of hot takes right there.
Is
That
it?
is.
This last part, because I know a lot of people who consider those last few movies that you said were okay. I mean, they're dumb humor, but a lot of people like love those still. I mean, I
What?
don't like them that much, but I know a lot of friends who are like, they'll just watch it for fun with their friends and stuff. But
I would have really liked Step Brothers if I was like 9.
yeah, I think that's a lot of it's nostalgia. I think that people like those movies
Yeah, like if it came out today, like no one would really like it that much. Like
because it's one of those. It's another
I
one of those
didn't.
dumb movies that no one like no one cares about.
It's just like because everyone's like, oh, it's dumb humor, and there's a way to do dumb humor, but like it's just like all they do in that movie is just fucking scream at each other, and
Yeah.
then they'll just say the fuck word,
Is.
and then it's like, haha, and it gave me like a headache, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, I can see that. Have you seen Austin Powers? You said you saw. Did you like those? You said they were just okay. Have you seen them before?
No, I had never seen them. The first Austin Powers I saw, I liked it. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Like I really like the look of it a lot. I kind of like that kind of Y2K aesthetic, like that a lot of those like kind of later 90 movies had when they're kind of like trying to do their own thing, but also like making callbacks to the 60s. Like I really liked the look of the movie a lot, but
Yeah.
in terms of like, did I find it funny? It was kind of like a mixed bag. Like, I don't think I like Mike Myers that much. I know, like, a lot of people, like, really, really love Mike Myers, but, like, it's almost like he doesn't play up the irony, like, enough. You know what I mean? Because there's jokes in there where it's like, I think the joke is supposed to be that it's not that funny, but, like, they don't really, like, push it to the point where, like, you would find it funny. You know what I mean? Like, the dick pump joke at the beginning where it's like, "Oh, that's not mine. That's someone else's."
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "Is this supposed to be like it's like obviously like a dumb joke or whatever?" But I don't know. And every time he laughs, I'm not gonna lie, in that movie, all I think of is the Cat in the Hat.
Ooh,
I
Ooh.
think that movie has ruined Mike Myers for me.
Yeah, I can't do that to a person.
Yeah,
Even
I
though
recommend
I
Cat in the
enjoy
Hat
Cat in the Hat
though, if
because I
that's
watched
still
a
on
lot of
Netflix. It's pretty great.
Um. Okay. Very good. Very good.
There we go.
Will,
I
what about
mean,
you?
obviously during quarantine, I watched like a lot of Tiger King. To be honest, I mean, I binged that series when it came out, and it's really
Mhm.
interesting. That's just for TV shows. I've also been watching Peaky Blinders lately.
Oh, what
Since
is Peaky Blinders? I've heard that's good.
it's about like a gang in the 1910s in Birmingham, England, and it's just like a group of brothers who end up building like this like gang empire where through horse betting, and they do like some illegal activity with that, and they also operate like all the businesses around their area. I haven't gotten that far into it, but so far it's been pretty good. And obviously, Cillian Murphy is just a really good actor.
Right.
And I don't, for some reason, I've been seeing his face a lot more, like on these Instagram pages that I follow. You know, like the film, like there's like all those film like enthusiast Instagram pages.
Like the Cinemonkeys and stuff
Yeah,
like
for
that.
some reason
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
been posting a lot about Cillian Murphy for some reason. I don't know why.
It's
I
probably
think,
just people that find him hot.
I'm not sure if Peaky Blinders just released another season, but they probably did. I just haven't made it that far, but so far it's enticed me. And for movies, I think people, I don't know. I think Her would be a good movie to watch right now, just because like with all this quarantine stuff, it just feels kind of like eerie. So it's kind of cool to see like a movie that's embraced that future in a way.
Social isolation mixed
Yeah,
with real isolation. You know what I mean? I get that.
what was really interesting, actually, I had like, I saw like an ad where it's talking about like an AI person to text, and I just wanted to try it out and see like how it was, like see how like smart it was. And like I tried like texting this AI, and it was like pretty weird because it seemed like it was doing pretty decently, and it made me think of Her a lot because I'm like, holy shit, like just the fact that I'm able to talk to this thing and have it somewhat processed. There are like some things where they're saying, there could be someone across the world doing something, but there were some things where I'm like, there's no way this could have like some person could have typed that out that quickly.
Interesting.
But like it's just really interesting because I'm like, wow, like Her, because the whole thing of Her is that he has an AI like I guess girlfriend type person that he talks to. I mean, it's still a great movie. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing. Scarlett Johansson, just by her voice alone, is really good in it.
Right.
I'm trying to think of like other movies I would suggest. Maybe like I would suggest maybe Matrix movie, just because I don't know. Then again, it's still like maybe not like which one's the bad one? The third one, right?
So I have a controversial opinion, another hot take. I actually like all the Matrix movies. I think the first one is like 10 out of 10. And I think the last one, which is the worst one, is like a 6 out of 10. There's something I really appreciate in all of those movies. But yeah, most people consider the third one to be absolute garbage. But it's not.
The fourth one, right?
Yes, they are. Fifth one, if you count the Animatrix. But there is a fourth one. I'm pretty sure it's not going to come out for a while now because I believe filming had to stop. But they did begin filming because there were like production photos of Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss like riding a motorcycle together like on set, and they were both in leather. I'm very curious to see how it's going to go. I know only one of the Wachowskis is directing it. It's Lana, because Lily is kind of taking time off and is working on another show on Showtime. She's like kind of writing it and stuff. And as far as I know, the Warner Brothers has been very, very good with giving the Wachowskis complete creative control over their stuff. But recently, with like Jupiter Ascending bombing and getting like terrible reviews, and like the kind of the really, really hands-on stuff the studio has been doing with like the DC universe, where it's like, we got to have this, we got to have this, we can't have this, and how they basically kind of re-edit movies when they don't like them after they've been shot. I don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down to see another Wachowski movie in the theaters again, because I'll be honest, after Jupiter Ascending, I just figured that was not going to happen. I still have not seen Jupiter Ascending, by the way. It's the only one.
I mean, I haven't either. To be fair.
But I've heard it's pretty trash. So, but again, I don't know how it's going to be. We're gonna have to kind of wait and see. I'm curious, but I'm expecting it to not be great. But again, this is coming from a guy who does like the Matrix sequels. So like a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's just going to be shit like those. I don't think it's gonna be complete horseshit unless it's like very like corporate and it keeps like doing the whole like throwing back to the first movie. It's basically the first movie again, but with like like just a different skin on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But I'd be curious to see those. But yeah, Matrix movies definitely for quarantine if you haven't already seen those. But I'm trying to think of like movies to kind of recommend that like people may not have seen yet. That's like,
Well,
hey, if you're stuck inside, now give it a chance.
this one is a controversial one. This is gonna be
Cloud
my
Atlas.
inner weeb coming out.
Which is also a
Um,
Wachowski movie.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
So this one's controversy and people just don't give it a chance. But so anime has great movies, and if you
Fuck
want to
you.
see great character developments, animes are literally the way to go. A great place to start would be Studio Ghibli movies. They're a give or take movie if you like it or not, but um there's so many of them and they're all really good and they have really good character development and they're very artistic and really pretty to look at.
What's
Um,
your favorite Ghibli movie, Ben? I'm
well,
interested.
see, I'm not the biggest fan of Ghibli movies just because of how they all play out, how they're like
Because there's
the
no
whole
boobs and blood. That's why you don't like them.
yeah, that
That's
is
not why you watch
exactly right.
anime.
Exactly right. But I mean, obviously the one that everyone likes, and I liked it. It was Spirited Away. I really enjoyed Ponyo because I watched that when I was
Oh
younger, so that was just like,
yeah.
It's a very interesting take there, Ben.
yeah. Princess Mononoke and
Totoro.
My Neighbor
Mononoke.
Totoro. Those are all very good. But then
I think. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, go.
if you spread your wings out a little bit further and go past Studio Ghibli movies, there's great alternative shows that you can watch that have good story developments and um, just everything about them is great. There's also movies like A Silent Voice on Netflix if you want to watch. That's a very good movie to watch.
Yeah,
But
I
yes.
watched the new movie by that studio that did Silent Voice, Weathering with You. I
Oh,
believe
how
it's
was
the same
that?
studio. Well, I saw that in theaters. It was okay, honestly. I mean, I'm new to like anime. That was my first like I think full anime movie I've actually like sat through into a theater because my friend wanted to go see it because he's kind of like a weeb. So I was like, I'll go with you just because I want to broaden my horizons. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was decent.
That's good.
Um,
Is it by the same people that made Your Name? Is
yes,
that it?
yeah.
Okay. I
He did.
saw
My friend told me that Your Name was better in his opinion.
Your Name is like fantastic.
So I
So
need to watch that, but I need to get more into anime, honestly, and this is the perfect time to start watching. I've been trying to watch more Full Metal Alchemist and stuff like that
That
because, like,
one's that's not only just a great show, but that's also known as one of the best shows that have the best story and character development, along with I mean, we can even go something that everyone likes is The Last Airbender, which is a kids show that has goofy moments but has great character development. Like
and is coming to Netflix next month.
on May
oh shoot,
15th,
it
yes.
is.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've never seen the whole thing, so I'll finally be able to.
Have you
And
seen
I'm
have you seen the
excited.
ending of it?
I have seen the ending.
Okay.
I know like what happens, but like I want to see it for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I've really
very
never
good.
dove like I don't think I've watched like more than 2 episodes of like the Last Airbender because it just wasn't my thing when I was younger. But since I'm like more open minded now, I'm actually pretty excited because I didn't know it was coming to Netflix.
It
In my
wasn't
opinion,
my I'm sorry. It wasn't my thing when I was younger either. It reminded me because like I used to watch Samurai Jack a little bit. I definitely felt like I was too young to watch it though, kind of how like when you're like a kid, it's like this is something that I'll like when I'm older or whatever. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Like, well, it just
Yeah,
seems like something that you don't really like. There's too much going on for you to really care about, type of thing.
exactly. And it's very storyline driven. It wasn't
Yeah,
like you could just tune in on an episode and you can like just kind of watch it and stuff.
yeah.
Which
So
for like
Yep.
Nickelodeon and especially just like an animated show in general is like really ballsy. So
no, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I'm gonna definitely watch that. I didn't know it was coming out, but I mean, like shows like Full Metal Alchemist and like Airbender and like Hunter x Hunter and stuff like that are like I would say they're very friendly to like a newcomer to like anime. Oh,
Yeah.
especially One Punch Man is definitely I think like one of the best ones to watch if you're just like a newcomer to it. It's a funny show.
That's more of an entertaining value, yeah, but it is also good.
I mean,
Have
that was my first anime I've watched all the way through, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Have any of y'all seen Cowboy Bebop, which is currently on Hulu?
I've been trying to watch it, but I hate old styled anime because of the animation style.
Really?
I just it kind of makes me like a little bit nauseous. Like even like old cartoons when I was younger, I just hated watching them, like Tom and Jerry and stuff. Like I just did not like the way it looked.
Really, that's very weird.
That is not the. I would not compare the
Well, like
animation of Cowboy Bebop to Tom and Jerry.
well, because like they're just outdated. Like Cowboy Bebop is the same as like Neon Genesis. Um and I don't know. Like there's a Hunter x Hunter is a 90s show, but it got reanimated and it looks so good. But yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna have to agree to disagree. I still quite don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, Cowboy Bebop.
I
It's like a
want to throw
low-
my
it's
hat
like
in. I want to throw
a
my hat
low
in.
res.
Honestly, I think that the low res, like the stuff you're talking about, Ben, I think it adds to the charm of them, though.
Are you just talking about like traditional animation from like
No.
the 90s and like
He's talking like anime, like early anime. Like I don't know. Like, do you like cringe when you see like Sailor
are you talking about like
Moon?
Speed Racer and stuff like that?
Yeah, kind of. Like,
Okay, well that's not Cowboy Bebop like at all. Like it's not limited. Like that animation doesn't like literally reuse stuff. It's like beautiful animation in Cowboy
well,
Bebop.
yeah, no. That's the hard. Like, it's not like reuse. It's like the resolution basically of it. It's obviously it's clean animation and it looks good. It's just I don't know how to explain it. It's like everything's not defined and
But
the
I like
colors
that
aren't.
sometimes.
Yeah, I like that about it though because it adds to
Yeah,
kind of
I know people
kind of
that like it a lot.
grittier scenes and stuff.
Like Sailor Moon is like really like a cool show. I mean, I haven't watched that much of it, but to me it's really cool because it has like that kind of noise going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you talk about kind of the grain and stuff, I like that. So I guess it's
That's
just like
how
a preference.
early Dragon Ball was also, and I did not like it. Just any show that came out between 95 to 2001 or something.
So you didn't like early SpongeBob episodes?
Yeah, basically, like all that kind of thing. It's
That's
just
weird,
not. It's
but-
not that I don't like them because of that. It's like it makes me nauseous. I don't know. Maybe something happened.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yes,
I get what you're talking about though, but I don't really have that problem. Although I will say I like the look of season 2 and season 3 SpongeBob much more than season 1 SpongeBob.
Oh no, I agree. And then we hit a plateau of the Dark Ages after like season 5 or 6.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But anyway, Cowboy Bebop, great show. Very, very good characters. It's not only my favorite anime, it may be my favorite show ever. Like I really love that show a lot. And the ending is gonna kinda I remember watching that very late at night because I bought the whole series on DVD from Best Buy back when that was the thing. And I remember finishing it like really late at night, expecting it to just finish it and then go to bed. And after finishing it, I just stood up for like an hour just thinking about it. And I couldn't fall asleep.
Do you guys watch dubbed or subbed?
With Cowboy Bebop, you need to watch the dub because the dub is amazing. Like it's better than the actual sub version, but I usually watch sub unless like I just don't feel like reading.
I watch it depending on how it sounds because I don't care which I watch sub or dubbed, but I do care what it looks like because like One Piece, for example, the subbed is so much better than the dubbed. And same with Dragon Ball, the dubbed is so much better than the subbed. And then JoJo is so bad in dubbed. It is so bad. I've never seen something as bad. Like it's not just anime, but it's probably the worst dub I've ever seen in my life. It's like a bunch of American actors trying to do English accents.
Who did? I'm assuming. Who did the dub on JoJo? Because that was in
Not sure.
the 80s, wasn't it?
Not sure. I mean, I only watched the first 2 seasons, so I assume the more popular, because like first 2 seasons everyone hates apparently, but after that I assume that they're better, but we'll see.
Has JoJo's Bizarre Adventure been running like the anime since the 80s?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
87.
I mean, it's pretty spread out. It's only 5 seasons.
Well, it's original. Well, it's like first season I think is in the late 80s.
A 13-episode original video animation series adapting the manga's third part was produced and released between 1993 and 2002. So dang, I didn't know that. That's interesting. But anyway, what I usually
Screw anime. We're not done talking about those
I'm
weebs.
done. By the way, the best Studio Ghibli movie is Castle in the Sky. Don't at me.
Okay.
Castle
But
Sky?
anyway,
I don't think I've seen that.
Very cool.
I saw that in yeah. But anyway, we'll save that for a Studio Ghibli thing.
Well,
But
we'll
anyway,
have a full anime episode, even though we already spent like a lot of time
Right.
talking about anime already. But
other movies to recommend during quarantine.
Well, I mean, I think Coen brother films overall are just really good films to watch during quarantine. They kind of
Right.
have like an outdoorsy, adventurous feel to them.
Mhm.
Like The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, No Country for Old Men are very good films. I mean, you already mentioned the Big Lebowski. I don't
Mhm.
know. I think they have really good films to watch during this time.
I'm trying to marathon all of their movies in order, so I don't want to watch the later ones until I kind of build myself up. Right now, my next one is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I got to see that, and then I can.
Have you seen that one?
I have not. No.
No, it's one of my favorite movies when I was younger.
Yeah. The only one that I've seen before I started like marathoning all their stuff was True Grit. The remake of True Grit they did. That one's really good. I really liked that one.
Yeah, I like that one. That had Haley Steinfeld, right?
Yes, it did. And my man Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
But yeah, no, that one is really, really good. Another great movie that I would recommend that is on Netflix currently is Good Time. Safdie brothers are some of my favorite directors working right now. I think they have a really interesting and unique style that no one else is really doing. And like what you were saying, it's also very like adventurous and it's very self-contained and it has a very fast pace. So it definitely will. You definitely won't be bored watching it. And it's on Netflix currently, and I recommend everyone who has not seen it go out of their way and see it because you definitely won't regret it.
Yeah, great performances by Robert Pattinson and I don't remember which Safdie brother.
So it's Benny Safdie plays the brother.
Yeah.
And there is another person that shows up later in the movie who is probably my favorite part of the movie, but I won't spoil it. But you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
But then also just any kind of underrated movies that you don't think people have seen that you would like people to see during this?
I'm trying to think. I mean, Netflix has a lot of good stuff on right now, to be fair.
They do.
Like last night. Oh, I did not see this. Waco.
Oh yeah, I need to see that.
Waco just got added to Netflix, and if you haven't seen that yet, it's a really good series, and it has some of my favorite like history TV actors in it. Like Michael Shannon, and I forgot like some of the other actors' names, but they were on Boardwalk Empire all together, like almost like these three main actors, and they're on like everything together. But Waco is a really, really good, I think, short series.
I like Michael Shannon a lot, so I'll have to give that a chance.
I mean, you have like, I'm trying to think, because man, these aren't necessarily like underrated, but like there's just a lot of good Netflix shows on. There's like obviously, I mean, there's like The Perks of a Wildflower, Drive, Inception. I mean, these are all kind of like not like they're not
underrated, but like
underrated,
you definitely need to see them if you haven't already.
You have like Train to Busan, Ex Machina. Sorry,
Yeah,
that was
Ex Machina.
Ex Machinima.
Also,
the downfall of the gaming YouTube channel.
Rest in peace, Machinima. They're gone forever. Also, the if you're interested in like, there's probably a lot of people that haven't seen spaghetti westerns, but The Good and Bad and Ugly is on here. It's a long movie, but I don't know. I think it's definitely something to watch just so you think that you watched it. I mean, the ending scene lasts like 20 minutes, and it's just like all built up stuff, but it's funny. It's not funny. It's just an interesting film. It's funny because we were watching it back then, but the Florida Project is also a good movie to watch. I feel like
That one's great.
I'm literally just listing off like movies that are good on
I
Netflix
think
right
I
now.
think the best part about being in quarantine now, or I'm saying that very loosely. There's no good part about what's happening right now, but like, can you imagine if this was happening in like the 80s, where all you had were like VHSs and stuff? Like now we have like every streaming service imaginable. I mean, even including YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
And there's just like so much stuff that you can like, if you like, oh, I want to watch this movie, you can just go and like either rent it or you can just see if it's on any of these streaming services. You know what I mean? Like
No,
there's no more like, dang, I guess I can't watch this now that I'm stuck inside, you know?
No, like yeah, definitely. And like obviously we're starting to get to the age where movies are just going straight to streaming. Like
Right.
obviously The Irishman, like Marriage Story, where
Mhm.
they might have had like I think they both had like limited theatrical releases just in like literally like one or two locations, but then they had got straight to Netflix, which is really cool because right now, if you're trying to produce a movie or create a movie, or you've already created a movie and you're trying to show it to the world, it's not a good time, especially if it's a big budget movie. And that's the
Mhm.
topic I want to move into right now is
Right.
about all of these movies getting pushed back. And I remember I think you mentioned this, Matt. You know what movies that these studios think are going to do well by the ones that they're pushing back because
Exactly. Like
you were talking about the Scoob movie, how it's just going to to
streaming. Well,
streaming.
you would have to buy. So what's happening is when I say like they kind of have faith in what movies are going to be successful, something like Scoob, they are not just like kind of dumping on a platform like Netflix or something. They're like putting that on like iTunes and all of like the publications, and you actually have to pay like $20 to rent it and stuff.
Yeah.
But were a movie like The Lovebirds or whatever, which has like Kumail Nanjiani in it, they're just dumping that straight to Netflix because they don't trust that people are going to go out of their way to rent that. And that's why I think it's interesting because I feel like a reason a lot of like the kind of Oscar movies like The Irishman and Marriage Story did go straight to Netflix as opposed to being in theaters is because I think they are smart enough to realize that nowadays, like back in the 90s, like back, 90s, early 2000s, where you didn't really have a lot of alternatives, you would go drive out of your way to see it in the movie theater. But now I can kind of see they are kind of making movies that definitely should be seen in like, very good quality with a nice sound system, but you don't have to go necessarily see them in the theater. And when it's something kind of a smaller budget like The Lovebirds or whatever, as opposed to a very, very big budget like $100 million animated movie about Scooby Doo, I can see why they would want to put that one on like a pay for service thing, and they want to put the Lovebirds on like Netflix. And I think this is just going to be a lot more transparent as to what they think is going to be successful.
No, definitely. And speaking of movies that have been pushed back, we have a lot of things that have been pushed back because of this all happening. Some of the ones that were supposed to come out, like most recently, were movies like Wonder Woman 1984.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Shazam 2 is supposed to come out pretty soon.
That was supposed to come out next year, but they're pushing it back to later next year.
Oh shoot, never mind.
And
They delayed it to 2022 now.
oh, really? I know
And the
the next
Flash
Venom
movie.
movie and like Morbius and shit like that.
Yeah,
What
Mulan.
Mulan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one I'm the most interested in because that was supposed to come out like that weekend and they pushed it back and they put Onward for available for payment and they just dumped it on their streaming service like Disney Plus because it's like, okay, well, people will go see if it's on Disney Plus then, which that makes sense. They have not done that for Mulan.
I think.
And
Well, they I read an article where they're trying to get the China market.
exactly, like
So
that's
that's
the
like the
main
second.
reason,
That's the second largest movie market in the world behind
right?
America. So they're
And
just trying
that's
to make sure that market still get. They still get like all
America isn't the biggest movie industry.
I said, well, China. I'm talking about like audience
yeah.
wise.
Isn't Bollywood bigger than Hollywood.
No.
Bollywood makes
It's-
more movies. I don't know if their audience is bigger.
I'm saying like from an audience standpoint, I think Americans consume the most theatrical media out of like all these countries with China behind. But when it comes to like the size of the industry, I think they produce more movies, but I think budget and stuff. I mean, Bollywood produces huge movies like a couple times a year, while like America's just pumping them out. I might be wrong. I don't know that much about Bollywood, but from what I recognize, but like yeah, Mulan, the Jungle Cruise movie. Obviously the Indiana Jones movie, the Batman movie, Robert Pattinson, the new Black
Right.
Widow movie got pushed back to November.
I think the thing though with Mulan, which I find interesting, is you are right. I think there's two main reasons. I think the big thing is they wanted to do really, really well in China, which is honestly why I think they made the movie. Because they wanted it to do well in China. Because I mean, Disney really likes re-editing their movies for China a lot. And like reshooting extra scenes for China that take place in China and stuff like that. And I think that's the reason why they didn't want to put it on like a streaming service, is because they know it will do better in the theaters in China. And then another thing is I'm wondering if a lot of it is just like xenophobia. Cause like people aren't viewing China in a very favorable light right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if that may also have a part to do with it. But what I'm very curious is does this what does this say where it's like, is the only reason people are really putting movies in theaters anymore is because they know it's also going to do very, very well in China, as opposed to just putting it on a streaming service? Like, how much of the film industry is really like banking on, we're making this for China, you know?
I definitely think that's the case for like big action movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you watch like Chinese like blockbusters and stuff, they're usually very like CGI action intensive.
Right.
And
Like, if
I mean,
I'm correct, didn't they say Aquaman was going to bomb, but China like really loved it or something? Am I correct on that? I know China's what made them pass the 1 billion mark.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you, but from what I'm aware of, that makes sense to me. I mean, let's see. Holy cow, it's crazy that it made $1 billion.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but
Me neither. I just don't. I mean, I heard it was okay. I just don't think it's worth $1 billion. But
there's so many
whatever.
movies that like I completely forget about, and then I'm like, oh, I remember that movie, and they made like $1 billion, and I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
But I
But
do think it's a big reason. Like when you mentioned making movies for China, I mean, like I said, I think they're the second largest market for American
I
movies.
do know that like when they release like the top 10 most paid actors, like Jackie Chan always makes the list, and he's never like in a Hollywood movie every year, but he's always in a Chinese movie, so that's where he makes
No,
all his
I
money.
know that there's a big because obviously China's starting to get like more into the film industry, and another thing that kind of sucks about coronavirus is these up and coming nations when it comes to like their filmmaking, they're getting kind of crippled by this. As for like America, we're kind of a little bit safe, but so that just kind of sucks. But like, yeah, I mean, for actors, there's a good amount of American actors working in China because usually like the white guys, like the villain in Chinese films, at least like from what I've observed when you have Americans acting in it, but they get pretty good chunk of change. And they not might not be superstars here because they're Chinese films, but they are superstars in China. Like they are known pretty well, and they get paid really really nicely over there because there's not an influx of Americans working.
Yeah.
So like people like Jackie Chan might not be in like you know, a star here anymore because he's really not. He hasn't been in like a relevant American film in a long time, but he can
he
go
was
do
in
it in China.
he was in the tour what was that movie with Pierce Brosnan like 2
You
years
can't even
ago?
name it. You don't even know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Foreigner?
called like the Foreigner or whatever.
Yeah.
It was so
65 on Rotten
don't
Tomatoes.
diss my man Jackie Chan.
But I mean, I think China's definitely an interesting. I mean, they're only going to keep growing, so it's an interesting thing on what studios will think about it. But like talking about like closures and stuff and crippling things, obviously, I was supposed to volunteer at South by Southwest, and it got canceled, so that's pretty sad. A lot of smaller indie films really need South by Southwest to like kind of get their name out there. Like the producer guy I know, his name is Sean Fowler, but he produced. He usually shows a film at South by. They debut a film at South by Southwest, usually like once. I don't know how many times he's done it. I think he's done it like 2 or 3 times. I might be wrong, but he has done it at least once where they've debuted it. And I think it's a really important place to really show because obviously, like film festivals are how people who are independent make a lot of money because people find them. And like Cannes was delayed, which is arguably one of like the most prestigious film festivals in the world, which we are gonna go to, boys. Ooh, voice crack.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna go do that someday, boys. We're gonna be there. Swamp goes to Cannes.
We can boo with the audience,
Exactly.
which
I mean,
is so rude, but that's why I kind of like. I'd love to go to con one day, but like they just seem like a bunch of dicks.
I mean, it's true. I mean, it's to each their own. I don't really know that much about the people that go there, but I could assume, yeah, there'd be some pretentious people.
Well,
Also,
I mean, like they will literally like boo a movie if they don't like it, like in the middle of the movie and stuff like that.
that sucks. That's
Yeah,
horrible.
Sundance seems a little nicer, a little more, professional, I guess, or at least
Yeah,
they're not like assholes or whatever. But I feel like there's like a lot of generic movies that get played at Sundance. You know what I mean? Like they kind of
yeah.
found like the perfect. This is what makes a good Sundance movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, once you kind of been doing it for a while, that's kind of inevitable in my mind for that situation
Exactly.
to happen. But I mean, like, yeah, it kind of sucks. You have all these big events getting canceled. Obviously, like almost all sports are gone. Oh, speaking of which, I think
Rip XFL, dude.
yeah, that sucks. I'm sad about that. But if you are a sports fan and you like basketball, The Last Dance got released on ESPN. So if you want a 10-episode series about Michael Jordan, it is very good.
Ooh, interesting.
And ESPN 30 for 30 films are like really high quality documentary films. So if you are interested in that, I would suggest checking it out. But yeah, but there's articles talking about how drive-in theaters are starting to be more popular again. We
Mhm.
have one that's outside of Brazos County. On the way back to Dallas, at least, I passed by it, and it reminds me of that drive-in theater from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it seems all rinky-dinky.
Oh, interesting.
To be fair, I've never been to a drive-in theater. I don't think I've ever been, but
Oh, really?
I mean,
I have in either. So yeah.
it does make sense that they'd be obviously more popular now because
You can
obviously
distance yourself.
you can't go to movie theaters. It is kind of sad that some of these smaller chains and movie theater chains are probably getting destroyed by this right now.
Exactly. Like I feel like AMC is gonna be fine and Cinemark and stuff, but like we had a couple local chains
Yeah,
that I don't see how they're
I
gonna make
hope
it through.
I hope the Queen does. I hope the Queen survives. I mean, none of
Oh
you are gonna know.
no! I didn't
None
even
of
think
you.
about the Queen.
I mean, none of probably people on here. Well, the Queen is like a local theater in our like I guess sister city, Bryan, and they show like old films. And it's really cool, like historical theater. So like, I hope they're doing well, because they're really cool, and they've done a lot for Aggie Swamp. But yeah, no, it sucks. But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta prevent the spread of the virus.
Exactly.
Like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Resident Evil, that Resident
That's a
Evil
great
3.
film franchise. Speaking of film
No.
franchises,
Resident
have you
Evil
seen
3.
have you seen the Resident Evil movies?
No, I heard they're horrible though.
When I
The
was
first one is okay. The second one, I had to turn it off because I literally felt like I was being insulted. by like my
remember
intelligence.
there was always select movies. I don't get scared by movies even when I was younger, but there
Yeah.
was always be select movies that I got scared of a certain scene.
Mhm.
So, like, there's 2 movies that I can think of, like Mirrors. I don't know if y'all know that movie.
Oh, with
Like,
Kiefer Sutherland.
I'm not sure, but I just remember
Yeah.
watching it, and she looks us in the mirror, and then the mirror like breaks the jaw of herself, and then like it's just like I was like, I can't look in a mirror. But in Resident Evil, there's this scene where they're in that little room where the lasers come on.
Yes,
That scene freaked me out when I was younger. I was like, "Oh my goodness."
that scene is awesome.
And
I
then
will.
recently, just yesterday, I watched, a Ghost Ship where that beginning scene with the wire going through everybody. Did any of y'all see that?
What is it? Ghost Ship?
Ghost Ship? It is intense. I'll send a link of the beginning intro scene. It is like, oh my goodness.
Oh, interesting. Have you seen Audition?
I don't think so.
It's a Japanese movie. There's a lot of wire stuff going on in that movie too, with people getting cut. I would recommend that. Do y'all have Shudder, by the way?
No.
No.
Jed talked about it, but yeah, I'm not really interested in horror films that much, so
That's fair, I guess. There are some non-horror stuff on there, but it's mostly horror. But I got it for like I did the week trial. It was actually pretty good. I saw Audition on there. I saw a movie called Pusher. It's the first in a trilogy of movies. Have y'all heard of this?
No, I've
Pusher?
not.
It's Nicholas Winding Refn's first couple of movies out of like Denmark. And he made like a whole series of them. And the first one was actually really good. Like it has like a very Uncut Gems vibe, where it feels very like underground and a lot of handheld camera work, and like it is about a guy that's just basically a scumbag, and you just follow him getting deeper and deeper into shit that's his own fault. It's really good. And what I've heard is apparently each film in the series focuses on a different character. So the first one is about someone, and then the second movie is about that person's friend, and then the third movie is about the mob boss. And I find that really interesting.
that is pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of a movie series that really does that.
I think it was because Nicholas Winding Refn said like he didn't really want to make it into a trilogy, but like I guess he made a movie that bombed and he needed to get back good graces. So he's like, okay, well if I make a Pusher sequel, I'm just gonna make it about someone else because I'm not interested in this character anymore. So I think it's pretty interesting he did that. That guy's crazy, by the way. The Nicholas Winding Refn guy, he's like a pervert, creepy
good
as
to know.
shit, dude. And he's super pretentious, also.
It happens to all of them. I was about to say it happens to the best of us, but no.
Nah, he's definitely not one of the best. Although I really do love Drive a lot.
Drive is pretty good. Does anyone want to talk about anything else? Because I mean, I think we're getting close to
Wrapping up.
Yeah, I mean, unless someone wants to mention anything else or talk about anything.
I'm gonna plug my channel. I've got a channel called Beautifully Terrible Productions on YouTube. We make comedy skits. I have a solo channel called Bonsai, which you can find in one of the descriptions of one of the videos. I think it's the 100 sub video in Beautifully Terrible Productions.
I mean,
I'm hoping to be posting on my.
we'll put it in the description of this video.
Oh, even better. I'm hoping to be posting on that one soon, although I'm not gonna have any promises. But wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask if you can, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Ben, do you want to say anything?
I guess go to my channel also, Ben Stinson Films. I just make videos, and that's it. That's it. That's all.
And I don't really have anything to plug, but everyone be safe. Like Matt said, wash your hands, social distance, cover your face. Do your best to stay inside, and we'll see you in our next episode. Hopefully coming out in like maybe a month or so. Yeah.
And if you have any questions that you want us answering in the next episode, leave a comment.
Definitely.
Leave a comment.
Well, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Why? That was beautiful.